Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to continue on in our graphing linear equations. In our last lesson, we were looking at how to graph linear equations when they were written in slope-intercept form. But your equations will not always be written in that y equals mx plus b form. So today we're going to find out what happens when they're written like this, in standard form. And we can take that standard form and turn it into slope-intercept form so that we can graph our equation. That's going to be our goal today. So what does standard form look like? Well, standard form is an x plus b equals c. And these a and b in front of it represent the coefficients that those variables may have. It's just that a and b cannot be 0. That could be 1x, that could be 10x. That could be 1x, 5x, or 1y, 5y, 10y. And then your constant will be whatever number is there to solve the equation. But as I said, you can't just easily take this and find the slope or find the y-intercept. You have to change standard form a little bit so that you can easily graph it. So our goal for this part is to take standard form and use our skills in solving equations to solve it for y so that it is in y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form. And it's easy to graph from slope-intercept form. We did it last lesson. So there's a lot going on here. So I'll walk us through it. Here's our equation written in standard form. It says negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. Well, our ultimate goal is to get this to say y equals, to get y by itself on one side of the equal sign. And so we need to use our solving equation skills to do that. Whoops, wrong button. So right here is the start of our problem. We want to get y all by itself, and I apologize if it's small on your screen. Hopefully my other examples will be better then. But negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. The first thing I want to do is I want to take this negative 2x away and move it to the other side, because my goal is to get y all by itself on this left side of the equal sign. So I have negative 2x. I have to do its inverse operation. So I add 2x. But I have to balance the equation. What I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Now, I can't add negative 6 and 2x. They're two different terms. So I'm just going to bring them down here separately. But I'm going to put the x first, because in slope-intercept form, remember, y equals mx plus b. The x comes first on this side of the equal sign. But now I'm left with 3y equals 2x minus 6. I said my goal was to get the y all by itself. It has a coefficient of 3 in front of it. To get it by itself, I've got to divide by 3. Well, that eliminates it. But what I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Since I've divided this side by 3, I have to divide every term over on that side by 3. So now I've gotten y by itself. I've got 2 over 3 as my slope. We can leave it as a fraction, as long as it's reduced. And then negative 6 divided by 3 gives me negative 2. So from here, I have it written in slope-intercept form, just like our last lesson. And I know that the negative 2 is my y-intercept. I know that my 2 over 3 is my slope. So I can come over here and graph that. My y-intercept is negative 2. So along the y-axis, I put our dot at negative 2. My slope is 2 over 3. It's a positive 2 and then a positive 3. So up 2 over 3. I could do it another point if I wanted, but since my thing's there, I can make a line with 2 dots. All right, so let's take a look at another example here. I have 3x plus y equals negative 5. My goal is to get that y all by itself on the left side of the equal sign. and put this into slope-intercept form. So 3x plus y equals negative 5. To get the y by itself, I've got to move the x. So I do its inverse operation. That's a positive 3x, so I subtract 3x. I balance my equation by putting it on that side. So now I write everything else out. Y equals, those can't combine, they're two different terms. Y equals negative 3x minus 5. Is there anything else I have to do for this problem? Is y all by itself yet? Yeah, y is already by itself. There's no coefficient in front of it. It's a positive y. So at this point, we're ready to graph. We have negative 5 as our y-intercept. So negative 5. And then we have negative 3x, or negative 3 over 1, as our slope. But look what happens. Can we go down 3 and then positive 1? No. So here's where you put that negative with the bottom number. Because here I can go a positive 3, I can go up 3, and then back 1. In fact, I'm going to make my third point. Up 3, back 1 more. And there's our linear equation graphed. Next example, x minus 2y equals 6. Let's get y all by itself over here. So x minus 2y equals 6. First thing I need to do is I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x just to make sure I know that it's just 1x I'm doing. But I need to move it to that other side of the equal sign. So it's inverse operation. I subtract 1x, move that to the other side, bring everything down. Negative 2y equals negative 1x plus 6. Is y all by itself yet? No, there's a coefficient in front of it. So I have to divide by that coefficient. The coefficient is negative 2. I'm dividing by that whole negative 2. But to balance the equation, what I do to one side, I must do to the other side. So I have to divide every term on this side by negative 2. So now I have my y by itself. Negative 1 divided by negative 2. Your slope here, I have a negative and a negative. That's going to make it a positive half slope. And then 6 divided by negative 2 gives me negative 3. Is my y by itself? Yes, it is. So now I'm ready to graph this since it's in slope-intercept form. I find my y-intercept. That's negative 3. So negative 3. My slope is 1/2. That means up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. I'm going to get a third point. Up 1 over 2. So there's our solution to that linear equation. One more example. So we have 3x minus y equals negative 1. This is going to be important what I do with this negative y here. So 3x minus y, since it's just y, I'm putting a 1 in front of it, negative 1y, equals negative 1. So we need to get that y by itself. Move this 3x, doing its inverse operation. Bring everything down, negative 1y equals negative 3x minus 1. So I have a negative 1 in front of the y. I can't just have a negative 1y. I can't have a negative y for my slope-intercept form. But if I divide by that negative 1 coefficient, that makes that y positive. Now, what I do to one side, I needed to do to the other. So I divide all of these terms by negative 1. Negative 3 divided by negative 1, that's a positive 3. Negative 1 divided by negative 1, that's a positive 1. Now, since we're talking about rise over run, you can put the 1 underneath that whole number, so it's up 3 over 1. So, y-intercept of 1 And then our slope, up 3 over 1. So if I go up 3 over 1 again, I won't have any room. I could go the opposite, but I didn't draw a straight line, did I? I should have went through here. So that's why it's important we're going to start using rulers as best as we can. Unless we're drawing them on the computer, then that's hard. So we'll just, at least the computer, you can insert a straight line. All right, so at this point, go into Google Classroom, check out your homework for today. If you get stuck while doing your homework, you can rewatch this video anytime you need. If you still need help, please reach out to me. We'll see you next time.